Good evening. Thanks for tuning in to my new talk show, episode 3, All for Songs. I'm going to have Chris Jacobs today, and from the Chris Jacobs Band, formerly of The Bridge. And then also Andy Dunnigan from the Lil Smokies. Some great songwriters, good friends of mine. Just a heads up too, I'm going to take a break in the middle for like a minute to separate, because I've learned last week that we will be cut off at 60 minutes and can't seem to keep it under 60. So as long as you're still tuned in, we'll keep talking. I had a lot of requests for the song Old Barns, so I thought I'd play that today and talk about it a little bit. I think this was an important song for me to write because I realized something when I was writing it about listening. It's kind of like that expression, to become a good communicator, you need to be a better listener. A friend of mine's dad was in a car accident on the eve of Thanksgiving near Grand Rapids, Michigan, Granville. And he had become a buddy of mine, my friend's dad, because I was spending some time over there with them in Grand Rapids occasionally. And so what happened was he went out to fill up the car with gas, like a quarter mile from their house, because gas prices were going to jump the next day. And while driving that quarter mile, he was hit by a car, and the driver of the other car was hardly injured. And he broke his neck and his spine in a couple places, and he was like really, really injured. Excuse me. So prognosis was terrible for him, walking again, maybe even surviving. He was in a drug-induced coma, and he was really hurt. Some of the crazy parts they told me about later. I was visiting and sort of keeping up with my friend's dad because he was out of town at that point. And I was there. It was 6 months since the accident, and he was getting his halo off that day. And walking again, and like pretty much full recovered at 6 months. And to his own, his credit to that was just positive intention. Like, he believed he'd be okay. And so he just emotionally overcame his injuries and shocked all the doctors. So I was there the day he got his halo off, and he was like recounting the experience for me, him and his wife. And there were just like all these connections. She heard the car crash happen from their house basically, and then got that feeling. He didn't come home. So most of the stuff in the song is direct things that he told me, like that he didn't remember, where he was or how fast he was going or how he got in the hospital, but he remembered that the gas was 206. He made that comment about like coming to and being surrounded by all these doctors in a bizarre ballet or a performance piece. And the big thing was that he told me, and I think he was telling me this before he told his own son, who, my friend, if you're following along here, Canali. Hey, baby. So young. And the real kicker was he told me that he woke up from his drug-induced coma, had no idea what the hell was going on or why he was in a hospital or feeling the way he did. And he saw his wife beside him, and she looked devastated and scared. And then he saw his son, and he knew that his wife would be okay because she had his son. And he said, although he strongly had the will and desire to live, that at that moment he knew that everything would be okay, and that his son would take care of his wife. And I was so moved that he had said that about my friend and shared that with me. So moved. I'm kind of getting choked up thinking about it. And I didn't realize it, but I needed to write that song at the time I was also tossing around this image of old barns and how there's all this farmland in Michigan especially, where I was driving around a lot, that has these barns on the property that are in really, advanced states of decay, and they just let them hang out on the property until they fall down. I thought that was a really powerful image, that there's this reverence for the barn. And there was a specific one also in between like Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo. If you're driving to Grand Rapids, it's on the right before where those new outlet malls are. But it fell down, and then they cleaned it up. So I sort of connected the two things into this one song. So, a couple lessons here. Power of intention is a beautiful thing. And family is great. Can't remember 206 a gallon. Still I can't recall how fast I was driving. Didn't wake up feeling scared, 'cause you're the one I love and you're standing there. Can't touch my heart, it's not my time. Bust my bones and throw my body on the line, 'cause I've got love to fill me in. I've got family to help me read again. Old barns don't tear down, let them stand proud until they fall to the ground. It's a strange feeling, waking up to meet my Savior. This whole bizarre ballet that I've lived through, I'm not living all alone. These wounds are mine to set me free. Old barns don't tear down, let them stand proud until they fall to the ground. Feel like every man should know what I know. This boy I've raised will take care of things when I go. I'm not looking on scared, 'cause you're the one I love and you're standing there. Old barns don't tear down, let them stand proud until they fall to the ground. I just bent the neck of my guitar there. All right. Yeah, Old Barns. I love that song. I love those guys. Tim Canale, my friend Eric. I'm glad he's still around to teach those lessons to me and anybody I talk to about it, I suppose. Today I'm only going to play one song before we get friends to join, so I'm going to have Cris Jacobs first when he's ready. Cris is a pal of mine. I forget how many years ago we met, but Cris has been on the road with us a lot, so we have bonded over music, song, and beverage many times. Give me a request or a comment or something, Cris. Oh, what's this button do? No. I feel like I did an update or something. What's this? Go live with. There he is. Chris Jacobs used to be in a band called The Bridge that was real popular. Kind of before my time. I had heard of The Bridge. How you doing, buddy? I can't hear you. Could that be my end?
Not me. You hear me?
There we go.
Yeah. What's up, buddy?
All right, man.
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Sunny again. Got outside today a little bit.
Nice. Same. Yeah. Then I did a little hike yesterday with the family, and you know, trying to get as much of that outside sunshine as possible.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, buddy. How's the family?
Family is very good. We took Juniper for a car ride yesterday in her toddler car seat for the first time.
Oh boy, awesome.
So that was fun. We just went for a drive to get out of the house. Not very eco, I suppose, but
we did the same thing.
Yeah. So yeah, dude. I'm excited to have you here joining me to talk about songs. You and I talk about writing a lot, so this will be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah. How's it been going for you? You've been busy writing? I know you've been learning a lot for streaming and stuff, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've been busy writing. I mean, I've been trying to stay consistent, trying to keep a schedule with it. It's sort of like my newest, over the past few months to year kind of thing. And, I'm just realizing how much better the results are and just how much less anxiety I get about it when I just kind of know that I'm going to be sitting down, kind of keeping somewhat office hours and,
Yeah, I've been talking to a lot of the guests about this thing. It's like when it becomes kind of a job, like if it loses its romance and like when you became a songwriter, you probably were that kid with your guitar just singing about some heartache or something.
Totally. And, I wasn't waking up and saying, all right, time to sit down and try to write a song. It was like, let's go to the park and get stoned. And, oh, there's a nice little ditty right there. Yeah, let's go home and write that. And, it just happened. And, I guess doing it professionally, or at least for me, I find that I do better when I don't expect that it's just going to come hit me over the head. I think I've found that my muses reward the consistent work, when they see me sitting there over and over again. All right, let's toss them a bone. Let them sweat out for a few weeks, looking at a blank page, writing some shit, and then we'll give them some gold.
Yeah, like if songs are your mistress, she wants you there even when you're not in the mood.
Exactly, and yeah, exactly. So it's
same thing for me, and most people I talk to, it's the same way. This week I dug up all my like old notes and then all my old ideas and put them all in and like organized them in like a to-do files, and then like
how do you find that the old notes like translate later on? Because I got so many of those that sometimes I'm just like they're
just one-liners. So what I'll do is I went through and I typed up all the lyrics to the things that I have kind of together, and then I make a document of all the like one-liners, and I just start like reading through them, and then it's like when I write them down, I start really thinking about what the song means a lot of times, because sometimes I'm just like spitting the first verse out and then I walk away from it.
Right.
And then I sometimes I'll like print up that page sometimes, like especially when we're going into record making. And then as I use the lines, I cross them out and like change the meter of them, to fit whatever I'm using them for, or change the rhyme scheme or something.
I've embraced the more I've done it and the more that I do it for a living, the tools and little breadcrumbs like that, it used to feel like disingenuous maybe in a way to like try to go back. I had this whole romantic idea of like, no, it's just this, channeling from the heavens one time and you got to get it or it's not there. And, but I've given up that, and I mean, that's great when that happens, but the only way that happens is if you're on the path, and whatever it takes to get you to sit down and write.
That happens for me now. If I'm learning other people's tunes for fun, that's usually when one will just pop out of me, because I'll just be playing guitar, learning some other song, and then next thing I know, I've written 3 verses and a chorus out of nowhere.
Right. It's just keeping the muscles moving, you know, keeping the lines going across the page, keeping the hands moving. And
yeah, breadcrumbs though. I like that. There's like some examples that are sticking out to me that I'll write down stuff like "good enough," and that's all it'll say. And I'm like, man, that's a weird phrase. That's a weird thing to say.
Right. You're like, what the hell did I mean by that? Well,
honest truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's like a dishonest truth too. Like, what does that mean?
Dishonest truth. Yeah.
So I'll write down stuff like that, and it gets me thinking.
And then the voice memos where you're just kind of like, you know, it may be like in the grocery store or something, so you're like kind of whispering it, and to you it's like you're hearing the whole thing in your head, right? And then you go like 2 days later and listen to it, and it's just like, where you have no idea what the hell you were thinking at all.
Yeah.
So yeah. Just keep,
yeah, you know. I'm grateful for the iPhone. Honestly, it's really helped streamline my process.
Absolutely, yeah. Content, little phrases, little voice memos, anything, man. Like I said, just any little trick to like get the engine going is for me kind of where I'm at, you know.
What are you gonna play first?
I don't know. Anything specific you want to hear? You want me to pick it?
I don't know. Why don't you pick it?
Want I pick it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll do one that I haven't recorded, and that you've actually played this song with me, and Anders has too. Anders loves this song.
Ah, yes.
And you know, speaking of just like random ways to get the song out, I mean, this was a song. I remember I was reading a poem by Rumi, and it was called "The Song of the Reed," and it was about how like the reed, when it got cut from the reed bed and made into a flute, it was constantly crying out for home, and you know, for being separated from its source, and I thought that was really cool, powerful thing. And so but you know, and then it kind of just gets distilled down into a song, and it's like, you know, that feeling was there, and you know, it's kind of like a little bluegrassy song now, but that was the initial kind of spark to get me to sit down and do this one. You know?
Which song is it?
It's called "Long Distance Call."
Oh wow, that's an interesting.
Yeah,
that this song came from that.
Exactly.
You know, I like that, writing from an image like that, because when I hear this song, it's like very specifically about calling home from out on the road, like we do. That's what I hear and relate to.
Exactly.
But you applied this. It started from the greater image. That's really cool. Yeah, I love this song.
Cool. I hear it. Here it goes. Tarred and feathered, chained and bound, tightly tethered to the ground, seeking shelter on the soundless song of falling rain. Somewhere out on the broad highway, in the distance, music plays for the years and the long lost days. Oh, you've gone way out beyond on the western sky, soft like the wind on the northwest skin. You can hear my cry, but you answer me. Will it break my fall? It's longing and pain wrapped in the refrain of my long distance call. Of my long distance call. Ever homesick, ever lost, living burden, horses while time flies in a concert that miles between. I would give my life to this, chasing what I've still been missing. This was a piece of my existence I'll always reach out for, forevermore. For my song will sing, my tears will roll, my heart will flow that lonesome rain. Would you hear my voice? Will you break my fall? Hear longing pain wrapped up in the refrain of my long distance call. Of my long distance call.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
I love the Reed story now.
Yeah, right?
Because it's the long distance call for home, and
Yeah.
it just like didn't come off to me that way at all. I mean, obviously, how would I? I'd be like, you know, that song sounds like it's about.
Oh, hi, Thea. Thea's coming to you want to say hi, or you want to go back upstairs?
Hi, Thea.
She's just gonna hang out. No. Okay, all right. So what's up?
So you never recorded that, huh? Does the band play it?
No, it's weird. It's one of those that's just sort of like, see, she touched the button and turned the light off. Honey, please.
There's no way Juniper could be in this room right now. I have this on like a table that's wobbly. It's hard enough for me to not knock it over.
Yeah. And now she's upset. Okay. So, yeah, it's one of those that like kind of just never found a home. I don't know. It's weird. I've like played it in like bluegrass situations, but the band has never played that song. We should. And
I could see it like having kind of a country train beat thing
totally
going real well.
A little bit, yeah.
I was gonna kind of ask you about that, like writing for the project thing, because I wondered, what was the bridge writing process like? Did you write for songs, or did Kenny? I didn't do my research.
Yeah, we at the beginning, like we each brought a few of our own, and then we'd collaborate on a lot. Together, where like we'd get together and record these little jams and stuff, and then one of us would go take it, and then later on I think it became more of a he was writing his, I was writing mine thing, but yeah, I mean a lot of solo writing,
yeah, so you were kind of writing for like a jam band then, or a rock band, and then
funky,
you have
rock,
this
fancy jam band, it was
and you have this kind of solo voice like that song and things you do, but then your band is kind of a blues rock thing, and then you've done the project with Ivan Neville also. Did you do a lot of the writing for that too?
Yeah, we both did, and that was another like he wrote some, I wrote some, we wrote some together thing.
Yeah, so I just was curious about writing for different styles. Is that something you're conscious of, or are you just sitting down and writing and then placing the songs where they belong?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, there's definitely like for the bridge thing, I remember, it was definitely a lot of like, let's do something danceable and upbeat, and we'll start it with this funky groove or something, and then we'll go from there. It was based on that, and the Ivan thing, it was there were stuff that grooves that we just like jammed on together and recorded, and took little ditties and I would take them home. So it was sort of based off of both of our kind of vibes off of each other for that.
That's cool.
And, you know, I enjoy it. It's honestly like hardest to just like be wide open sometimes, you know, like have so many, you know, so much in the consciousness of things that I've listened to and music that I like to play that, you know, sometimes it's like, where the hell do you even start? so writing for projects is kind of a good little streamlining thing, but you know, so that's you know, that's how it is for me, just because I've kind of dabbled in all different stuff. I mean, it's all the same process when it's actually you sit down with the nuts and bolts of it, of course.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have a little thing a little springboard, and sometimes you don't, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, Greensky, we're always trying to do as much different stuff as possible, like play funky stuff, play psychedelic stuff, play country shuffle, play bluegrass, that I never really feel like I write something that doesn't work before we play it. But often we record stuff and then it's just like, it's hard to get it to sit right live sometimes. It's like the energy doesn't allow for it in the live concert, or the band, just something about it. Some songs are just tricky.
Yeah. I've got so many of those that like killer studio tracks that just like got played live once or twice. Yeah. But I feel the same way about like, you know, my band now, is that I can bring anything to those guys and they'll appreciate it and serve it, you know. I don't have to think like, oh, we can only, you know, do this. We have to leave that option out. Like,
yeah, they're so good. You guys can play bluegrass now. We taught Todd how to, man.
I know. He shredded that shit. We
didn't have to teach him. It's such a bummer we only got to do one gig, man, because he was having a blast and it was really inspiring. And
I can only imagine, man. I can only imagine what a crazy week that must have been.
Yeah. You had shows too, right?
I had some solo shows.
Shows.
Yes, and yeah.
3 weeks later. I probably wouldn't know it had been 3 weeks if I wasn't doing the show once a week. I'm like, it's Sunday again already.
Yeah. Has it only been 3 weeks? Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, because I've done kind of 3 of my own little things too. So it's talk to me in like 2 months, you know? Feels okay now. It's like, that's everybody I'm talking to. It's like, how you doing? Well, now I'm okay, but you know, 2 months from now when we're still not gigging.
Yeah. I think the record for me is 7 or 8 weekends off in a row. And we've only done that one time. You guys
must be like, what the hell am I doing with myself? You guys are like so busy all the time.
We haven't gone that far yet, but usually I'm like packing in so much travel and other stuff in between, because it's finally my free time that I've planned everything for. Family visiting, you know, working in the yard, whatever. But otherwise, since I was like 19 years old, I don't know that I've ever gone more than 7 weeks without a gig or performing. So hence this, I guess. Yeah.
You've been doing a lot of writing?
I kind of am. I have a hard time finding this time. So that's why I started the process. I've been working on some stuff a little bit and like refining it. And as a band, we've all been like working on stuff separately and talking about it. There's all this pressure. It's just weird. And it's like,
there's
pressure and creativity are weird.
I got this time off. I better crank it out. But I've let myself off the hook with that. You know, it's okay to take a pause, man. Especially you, man. You guys are like nonstop. Take a break. It's all right.
It's been good. Juniper's learning to walk, and I've been watching it. And I guess we would be in Australia right now, so I'd be seeing it. But man, the day that she was like walking for the first time was the day we were supposed to be on the plane to Australia.
There you go.
It probably would have been hell.
Yeah.
She would not have wanted to sit still.
The time at home has been precious. It's been great.
What about someone had asked me a week or two ago about family and kids, and what did you feel like that did for your writing? Did it change your voice or your subject matter for a while?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more indirect. I get that question a lot too. I mean, there has been like specific things where like, you know, I wrote a song for my unborn daughter, you know, Little Dreamer, that song we recorded on Dust to Gold, you know, 2 records ago. And, you know, that was like when Kat was pregnant and, you know, I had this little lullaby, right? You know, so there's that. And then I think it just, for me, it just makes me a different kind of person, and with different priorities and about, you know, and that just, you know, indirectly seeps through. I think it's not like, you know, need to write a song for my daughter, need to write a dad song. You know, it's not like that for me. It's just, you know, what drives me to sit down and write, I guess, is probably different.
Right. For me, it's like I write so much like dark, like bleak, scary. Like my subject matter is like fear, regret. You know, those are my things. And people are like, "Oh, he's having a kid now. He's gonna write all these happy songs and stuff." Yeah. And I'm like, do you know like the pressure and responsibility of like being a father, and like now I have to survive for my child's life? I'm like, don't worry, there are fear, responsibility songs coming.
Ever, man. Yeah, more than ever. Absolutely. No, I mean, having kids, it's definitely increased the pressure, which is why like the whole trying to streamline the process and make it like the consistent thing. That's like my mantra these days of like, don't let months go by where you think you're going to have a song hit you over the head, and then all of a sudden it's time to make a record and you got 2 kids running around and you know, and you know, so just like, and you're forcing every little thing. It's like when you sit down and do it every day and know that you're going to do it every day, then like it kind of comes to you, you know, or you hope that it does. At least you're giving yourself a chance for it to you. You know?
I wrote a song when Michelle was pregnant that's kind of that bleak thing. And then the first song I wrote after she was born was like really positive. I wrote like this kind of maybe one of the most positive things I've written, in like straightforward love songs, but it was for Michelle, not Juniper, because I was just like, you become so moved with what your partner does, and you know what that means to your child, and that's all real powerful. I remember you telling me all this before.
It's wild stuff, man. Wait till you have your second.
What? Michelle. What else do you want to play, man? Lots of people want to hear "Be My Stars."
Lots of people want to hear "Be My Stars." All right, let's do it then.
This is going to be hard for me because I'm going to want to sing along so bad.
Do it, man.
It won't work. I've tried.
It won't. Yeah, I mean, kind of like muffles it and kind of But all right, we might as well get into the old open tuning here because that's what I wrote it in.
Yeah, I love this song, man. So do all these people following along.
Yeah, I remember this was one. I don't know what the process is like for you, but I'm usually a lyrics last, for the most part, kind of guy. Like, you know, like I'll have like the tune, a melody that I can sing with you know, with no lyrics yet. And that was the case for this. And I remember going upstairs and playing it for Kat. You know, what do you think? What do you think? And she's like, "Why don't you write one about me?" Which I haven't really done.
So much pressure on us.
I know, man.
Write songs to support your children. Write songs because you can't go out and play songs.
It's wild. But yeah,
I'm lyrics, man. It's weird how they come to me sometimes. Usually when I start singing that melody, if I'm just messing around, sometimes I just randomly spit out some words. Like I'm working on a song right now, and the first words are, "With the absence of reason, there's a lot more to believe in."
Damn, and that just comes to you randomly? Jeez.
And I was just, "Absence of a reason," like the way the words sound or something. And then all of a sudden I'm like, now I'm into an idea, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
Man, that's how I do it for the most part. Like if I don't have a specific thing to write about, I just open up and spill. Just start singing and record it, and like, what did I say there? You know?
Yeah, and then words pop out. Yeah, I read one time that Paul Simon's a real like word sound guy.
Totally, me too. That's my whole approach. Really is, you know, unless there's something I really want to say, but like it's usually like even when I want to say it, I'll like try to open it up to the sonic play of the words, you know, like I you know, I don't like song, or not that I don't like, but my favorite kinds of songs, or even if like I don't, you know, they kind of wash over me and I don't even understand the lyrics, but I love it anyway. First listen.
Yeah. You know, simple words, sounds, the sounds match the melody.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sometimes I love awesome lyrics and word trickery, but
totally.
It's like, I always commend Jason Isbell for using the word benzodiazepine in his song. I don't know how many syllables that is. Like, who can write benzodiazepine in his song?
Yeah, he's
like real smooth too.
Yeah, man. Have you heard Brent Cobb?
I haven't listened to a ton of his music, but I know of him and like his involvement in that.
Yeah, he's great. You should check out that "Shine on a Rainy Day" record. There's some really, really great tunes. He's just like a real good kind of wordsmith. Like the words are great, but the sound of the words are great, and the groove of it is great. even if you don't understand what he's saying.
That's the one I think that Dunnigan always tells me to listen to. So maybe he'll give it to me today also, and then I'll have something to do tonight.
It's good, man. Yeah, listen to it with Michelle. You know, kick back. All right, I think I'm good.
All right, brother.
All right, man.
Be my stars.
Help me, they think that I'm falling. Aimless songs reaching for love. Push myself out till I'm nowhere. Only me on my stone. I don't wanna be all alone. I don't wanna be all alone. And you are the only way I can see clearly now. Be my stars when my ship is sailing. Lost in the darkness, my sight is failing. Be my star when the midnight blinds me. The closer you come, the further you find me. Oh. Too wrapped up in my illusion to see with my very own eyes all of the infinite beauty in the simplest of design. Without your constellation, I see only empty space. Oh, will I forever be a wanderer if I had in your grace? I don't wanna be all alone. I don't wanna be all alone. And you are the only way I can see clear now. Be my stars when the ship is sailing. Lost in the darkness, if my sight is failing. Be my stars when the midnight blinds me. The closer you are, the further you'll find me. Oh. Be my star, be my star. Want you to let me back home now, baby. Want you to find me. Looking around, sailing down, and I'm drifting on. Be my star. Be my star. Be my star.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
that's so fun to sing on with you.
I love singing that with you, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
The people were very gracious in the comments there while you were playing it.
That's very nice. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, that one gets a nice, that was one of those, I guess, gifts.
That time signature is so fun, man. I'm gonna play a tune right when you get off in that time.
You know, it's funny. I wrote that when I first had the idea of the melody. It was in 4/4. It was like, help me, baby. That's how I was hearing it, kind of like that halftime.
Yeah.
And then I recorded that melody, and then kind of went to another track on like my and just kind of did that instead of the 4/4. I tried that 6/8 thing, and it was like, wow, just lifted the whole thing.
It's 6/8's fun. Yeah, it's real cool. It's great for mandolin players too.
Yeah, totally.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, man. This is Cris Jacobs, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
You can find him at Cris Jacobs, and he plays music online. You can go watch his and hear more of his songs.
Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome, man. Send the best to the fam.
Talk to you soon. Girls. All right, brother.
Yeah. All right. Today we are going to take a brief commercial break so that I don't get cut off, and then we're going to return like a minute. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to start back up. I think I just got to push 2 buttons. And when we return, I'm going to play one song, and then we'll get little Danny Dunnigan out here with us from the Lil Smokies. Sorry, I told myself I wasn't going to call you Danny on here. I did. But it's in Chris's part. So commercial break. See you in like 10 seconds, y'all.